Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out probatemastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit probatemastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content.
Hey, welcome to our Probate Mastery programs, weekly real estate coaching call. I'm Bill Gross. I'm a real estate broker based in Los Angeles, California. I'm an alumnus of the Probate Mastery program. And this mastermind was started to help us all get together, network, share ideas, mastermind, best practices, share victories, share failures, so we all work together. And the premise is we all need each other to grow. I'm not a full-time coach. I'm a full-time real estate broker selling houses, so I do a lot of coaching and help people build their business in probate real estate in particular. This program is part of the probatemastery.com series of programs. There's a couple of different paths. There's the basics, the getting certified, and the course and bundles. And you can see on the website at probatemastery.com those different choices. Probate Mastery is the core program where you get certified, earn attorney referrals now. Is a way to get business from attorneys, principles and practice, and there's other programs as well. So take a look at the website for those details. You can continue the conversation at Facebook at Estate Professionals Mastermind. We have just under 7,000 members. Love to have you participate there. Now, separately on my own program, I'm a real estate broker. I'm building a national platform and building a team nationally. And so if you're interested in my program, Thursdays, probateweekly.com, I host a interview formatted program most of the time. Interview attorneys and top producers, vendors on how to get business. So go to probatemastery.com if you're interested in that. And then I also have a Facebook group, Probate Weekly, where you can continue the conversation as well as post questions, post your content. This is my content, but you can post your own content. I make it available to you guys. Some of you take advantage of it. But one way to get more views is post it more places. I'm glad to have anything related to probate, not just open houses or houses for sale, but any probate content. Love to have you guys put it on there and be more successful. Now, this call is meant to be participative. That means cameras on, ask questions, share victories, share defeats, so we can all get better. That's why we do this. And I know you guys are a little shy, so to get you warmed up, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story. Anybody here besides me watched the Monday Night Football game last night? I'm not a Jets fan, but I'm an NFL football fan. But I'm also a fan of people who are working the grind and working the business. And so even though I have no real connection to the Jets, if you follow NFL football, you know they signed Aaron Rodgers. And then you may or may not know there's a TV show called Hard Knocks that follows the team through their training process getting ready for the season, which opened last night. And there's a lot of excitement because Aaron Rodgers is probably the best active quarterback in the NFL, or one of the top couple for sure. One of the greatest of all time, one of the top 10 or 20 greatest of all time. And a lot of excitement. And literally in the fourth play of the game, he tears his Achilles, and it turns out he's out for the season. And it was, again, I'm not emotionally connected to the team, but watching the game, you couldn't help but feel that the stadium was packed. The energy was amazing. The players were psyched. And you could just see the disappointment. And for the next quarter or so, it seemed like everything went wrong. Anything that could go wrong went wrong. They had a field goal that was blocked for a touchdown, I think. They had an interception. It was just a mess, yet at halftime it was close. And I tell a story because this is a team that has a lot of talent and had done the work. And if you watch, what I like about Hard Knocks is it shows the players, not the stars, but the ones fighting to make the team. I feel like I'm one of those people trying to fight to make the team of the top in the business. And the end of the game, I know, spoiler alert, I guess, a punt, and the guy who returned the punt barely made the team. One of the episodes at the very end, they call him in, hey, you made the team, and you could just see this young guy was in tears and emotionally overwhelmed, chance of a lifetime. They punt the ball to him, and he returns it for a touchdown, and they walk off and win the game. And I think there's some lessons there for all of us. One is you got to do the work. You got to do the work every day, every week, for months to get ready. Sometimes we do this work, we learn about probate, we learn about real estate, and we don't see the results. And then one day you get a phone call from a prospect, from a homeowner, from a family filing who needs to file a probate, from an attorney. And that's the day that all your practice and training either kicks in or you didn't do it and you don't know what the heck you're doing. You don't know when your name's called ahead of time in this business. That's my experience. I had a tremendous opportunity when I started this business after months. I was going to court every day, happened to bump into a woman. It turns out she had like 25 pieces of property to sell. Now, most of them are very small and complicated. It sounds better than it is, but it was a great opportunity. But I was ready that day. I was in court. I was dressed. I had the talk down. I knew what to say. I was able to move forward from meeting them to getting contract signed and moving things forward. And so I just want to challenge all of you to do the work every day don't just focus on getting business, focus on earning the business. I just shot a YouTube short where I believe, I think I can say this, I've been around longer than most of you guys have been alive, or a lot of you have been alive. I've been in real estate for 36 years. All business, real estate, law, accounting, I think all businesses are tougher today than they were by far 36 years ago. Every business is under competitive pressure. Every business has major national and international competitors. Every business has cost squeezes. Every business has supply chain issues. Every business has these challenges. But don't look for this to be easier. Look for you to be better. And I assure you, if you do the work day in, day out, week in, week out, you will over time win this game. And winning does not mean it comes to you easily. I get asked all the time, well, probate, that sounds like an easy way to get business. It's a lot of things. It's not easy. I love it. No regrets. It's not easy. My wife the other day, it's so funny. For those of you who are married, you know your spouse never appreciates how hard you work. That's just part of being married, I think, today. And my wife said to me, oh, it must be easy now. She asked me how the market is overall. I said, well, the real estate market sales-wise is down 30%, and a lot of agents are really struggling. Fortunately, my business is pretty good. He said, oh, it must be easy for you because people still die, therefore you still get your business. Well, it sounds true. It sounds true. There is some truth to that. But what's also true is that other agents increasingly are looking to get into probate business the way they didn't before. Other agents that realize their business is gone, like, what do I do to get listings? Other agents who used to get a probate lead and kind of pass on, not chase it, are now clinging to every lead they can. And in my experience, may doing a poor job for the customer. And that's why I want to do better. So what I want to say to you, and then she said, well, why do you then train agents to do this? I said, because they're not going to be, no offense, you're not going to beat me unless you're willing to work harder than me. I'm willing to help those people behind me, because you guys are starting out and building your business. And I think we should all feel this way. I'm not saying this because I'm arrogant. You need to feel the way about yourself. I'm the best agent to handle a probate real estate sale in LA, period. And because I feel that way, I can share with you what I'm doing and how I do it, and hopefully it can help you. You should feel that way about your market. I don't know other counties as well. I know some basic fundamentals. I do work with some national vendors who expect me to have a network and a team to refer to. But you need to feel like you know your state's probate law. You need to feel like you know your county's probate local rules and probate procedures and personalities, the judges, the courtrooms. And if you do that better than anybody, you'll get all the business you deserve. I promise you. And so my charge for everybody today is yes, things happen. Yes, you're the greatest of all time quarterback, breaks his Achilles or whatever, tears his Achilles, is off the season. Doesn't mean you have to give up. And the people who will succeed are those who worked at it when nobody was watching. It amazes me, I don't know how many of you are in California, it amazes me how few real estate agents tell me they want to do probate real estate and have never read the California Association of Realtors probate addendum and probate advisory forms. There's a listing form and a purchase form and an advisory form. It's amazing to me. I don't know how, I don't know what to say. Like, there's only 3 forms. Just read them. Just start with that. And even brokers at big brokerages will like argue about stuff that's in the form. There's no argument. It's in the form. It's in English. It's not complicated. So I want to challenge all of us. I'm saying this to me too, because I have my moments where I feel a little lazy. Let's not hope the business gets easier. Let's all work hard together at being better. Because if we work hard every day, I don't mean 7 days a week. I mean, every day you're supposed to work. I don't mean you don't get vacations. I mean, when you're supposed to take off, take off. But when you're supposed to work, work. Like for me, I'm a religious Jew. So I have a bunch of holidays coming up. Well, I don't need to take off Labor Day. For me, that was a work day. It was a great day to do some planning because I'm off a lot of other days. I'm off every year for a good chunk of time. I block out my calendar when I'm off. So when I'm supposed to work, I'm supposed to work. And that's my challenge to you guys today. I know that's not really specific to probate, but I want to say this is no different because you have within the realm of probate the opportunity to learn about the business in a way that other people don't. And if you know more than them, you win. That's just how it works. So, okay, there's my soapbox. I guess I wish I was a Baptist preacher. George, see your hand up there. Let me get you unmuted here. What's going on?
Okay, so I'm actually a car guy. So I've been in the car business for the last 20 years, probably longer than that. So two things happened. So in 2021, my aunt passed away. My cousins were the executors or whatever, and they kind of fumbled the estate. The house sat for like a year. There was a leak in the roof, and it kind of destroyed the whole house. And right after the funeral, she asked if anybody wanted anything. I told her about the estate sales, and she didn't want to do it or whatever. So maybe about 3 months ago, a mechanic friend of mine passed away, and 2 months later, right after the funeral, his wife contacted me. Almost about 2 months later, she contacted me to buy the car, and I was like, "Wow, how can I duplicate this?" And somehow I got into the probate mastery course, and I like the approach. And I think it's a good business to get into, and I think I could really help some people. But I'm like starting out, since I'm not a realtor, is that something I should do to become a realtor, or would I be good just brokering deals and kind of taking the cars away from the deal, and just because I don't really know too much about real estate at all. The probate, I learned I went to the surrogate's office, learned how to do the leads, how to reach out to the people.
Look at you throwing down the name of the surrogate's office. What state are you in? In New York?
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey. I knew it was one of those two surrogates. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you throwing down the right name.
Yeah. So I put a couple days in at the office, and I actually know a lot of people in the office, which was, I guess, kind of good because they helped me out figuring out how to do the search. And just for giggles, I was like, you know what? Let me ride past one of these properties and see. And I rolled past the property, and sure enough, it looked like it's been sitting for a while. And thinking of that, I'm like, I wonder if they have vacant insurance for the property. I'm like, wow. And then I reached out to one of my friends from high school. He does insurance, and he was like, I told him what I was doing. He was like, I can do it. So I'm like, I feel like I have a good network of people to do this, but it's like, what do I do first?
It sounds like you're on the hustle.
Yeah, I am.
You can't coach speed in football, and you can't coach hustle in real estate sales. So you got that. I can work with that. So let's go back to your first question, which is, I get this a lot. Should I get my license?
Okay.
So are you at this? What are you doing full time?
I'm selling cars, which is kind of like hit or miss sometimes. Some days, some months are better than others.
Okay. Are you working for like a dealer or a lot or your own brokering, or what are you doing?
I'm working on my own.
Okay. So you're just hustling car deals here and there, people posting Facebook or whatever, and you're buying, selling, trading, flipping cars like that?
Yes.
And you're making money at it?
Yes.
Okay. So to become a realtor, I don't know New Jersey. In California, you have a license, you have a license, which costs some money. You have the classes to get the license, which costs money. There's the test process to get your license. Then once you have, and all that could cost you $500-600, depending on how you do it. Then to be an effective real estate agent, you want to be a realtor, which means you join the multiple listing service. That's another $1,000 a year. So all in is about $2,000 to be a realtor. I'd rather see you reinvest some profits towards that rather than write a check or put on a credit card. That's me. Okay. But, you have the hustle, you have some specific knowledge. And I'd love to see you find in New Jersey. What part of New Jersey you in?
I'm in North Jersey.
North Jersey.
Orange.
So that's
Yeah.
Newark is North Jersey?
South Orange. Yeah, Newark,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So I'd rather see you find some real estate wholesaler flipper types who get properties that need cars to be sold. Happened to me just 2 listings ago. We had 2 cars. I could
Okay.
have called you up and you could have dealt with them. And you could
Okay.
give my client some cash and she would have been happy as can be instead of towing away and getting nothing for them. Right.
Okay.
So I would love to see you, if you know cars, how to flip them. And if you know the titling specifics of New Jersey, for example, in California, personal property, cars are part of personal property, below a certain dollar amount in a state, there's just an affidavit form you fill, but then you got to go get the title at the Department of Motor Vehicle. My guess is you know how to do that. Being a car guy, most realtors, investors, that's going to stumble them up. And so if you know that, and you can share, hey, I can deal. Don't give them all the details. I'm your solution. If you have a car, give me a call. I can handle the paperwork. I can flip it quickly and get you your estate some quick cash. I'd make sure every realtor in New Jersey who's interested in probate knew that about me. Number one, every realtor and every investor. And then I'd say as you get a deal or two involving cars there, you'll come across some real estate and just pay attention like you have been. Obviously, you've been paying attention. And so you can market to attorneys, hey, I'm the probate car guy. You have a car, it needs to be titled. I can handle all that for you, get you a deal for the car. I'm an independent broker. I am probatecarguyspecialist.com or something like that.
Okay.
And get your way in with some people there. And then from there, you can move into real estate. If you're paying the bills, doing what you're doing, I'd rather see you add probate than walk away from it unless you have, in my mind, appropriate savings to last through that transition period, which could be 6 months and cost a couple $1,000s.
Okay.
How's that sound?
So that sounds good. That sounds
Anybody in
good.
this call here, a real estate agent or investor in New Jersey that wants to meet? I'd like to meet George if I was in New Jersey for sure. And I'd say, George, if I were you, what I would do is I would research in New Jersey, maybe know them. What are the rules to retitle a property when it's been in probate? Like, is there an affidavit probate or a small probate process? If there is, I would download the form. I would copy the state website on that. You don't have to teach the law. You can teach what the state's teaching about the law, right?
Okay.
And I would put my social media about titling the property, transferring title through a probate, and make myself available to every investor and realtor I could. So anybody who knows is in New Jersey, reach out, put your contact info. And George, put your contact info here so somebody who watches this later might find out and catch up with you.
Okay. How
Does that
do
help
I?
a bit?
What do I put that in the notes?
Yeah, in the chat.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Or reach out to me. Send me your contact info. I'm always glad to put people together. You can find me on social media at Bill Gross Probate. However you get your social media. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody besides me? Let me ask this: anybody in another state that you wish you knew the George Gibson of yours? I wish I knew the George Gibson of LA. Dude, if that was the case, I'd be making an appointment with you, getting your contact info, doing a video with you. Like, we'd be best friends. Now, I'm willing to be your friend, but it can't be my best friend. You're not in LA, but we can be friends, okay? But for the rest of you, go find your George Gibson in your market area. What does it take? You can learn to do it yourself, or here's a guy who knows how to do it. And my guess is he can flip a car way faster than you can, get a better price for your family, better result for them, and it's done lickety split. Okay, George, thanks so much, man. Okay, there we go. First caller down. Who else has a question, challenge, problem, victory? I can list all of them. I could bore you guys. I could speak. Can I just tell you guys something? I got asked this the other day. You could wake me up at 4 a.m. If I could wash my face in 5 minutes, I could do an hour talk on probate. and you can wake me up the next morning, same thing, and I could do it again, different talk. So I could talk all day long. You guys don't want me to, I'm sure. But who has a victory you want to share, or who has a setback that you're gonna have to overcome? Anybody? I mean, my business is such, I always have some. My largest listing fell out of escrow to $2 million deal. Win some, you lose some. But I closed 2 deals last week, and I got one closing here hopefully this week, and another one a couple weeks later. So, life goes on, but it certainly can be frustrating. Esma, let's get you up there. Esma, hand up. How can we help you?
Hey, yeah, so I just completed the probate certification program. And I was just curious what you would recommend to focus on in the first 30 days. There's just so much information, and it's a lot of very helpful information, but it's a little bit overwhelming. I just want to know like what to focus on in the first 30 days, as I'm starting this, and then I can figure out the next steps.
Sure. So you just took the probate mastery program. How long have you been in real estate?
I've been in real estate for 4 years.
Full-time or part-time?
Full-time.
And are you selling house? Are you otherwise making money and doing good business?
Yes. Yeah.
Good for you. And what state are you in?
I'm in North Carolina.
Very nice. So what I would say is if you have the ball rolling, it's easier to add to it than it is to distract from it. And so for an agent like you, I always start with fundamentals. I'm actually doing a class. I'm calling it an email mastermind class because I think it's so fundamental. The number one thing is to get the list of everybody in your database and be able to communicate with them on a regular basis. So presuming you do that already, I would say then you would start adding in content related to probate and avoiding probate, which is estate planning, to your mix. So what do you do to generate business today?
So right now I'm focusing more on calling for sale by owners and expired.
Nice.
Some
Cold
sphere,
cold
calling, a
calling.
lot of cold calling. So, and I want to add probates to my cold calling list.
And how many people do you have in your sphere?
Not a lot. I would say about
So stop right there.
600.
Before you tell me the number, stop. So for everybody watching, this is the symptom of an agent who doesn't have a healthy business, because your database is your business. And the answer to that question, if I could just be a little, look, you're not paying me so I can be real, right? You want me to be real with you, right? So the answer is a number. Now the number could be 10, 50, 100, or 10,000, but the answer is a number, but your emotion behind it tells me you're letting your insecurity hold you back from building the business. And here's what I want to say is that if you really believed you're a great real estate agent, now you say you expireds and FSBOs, are you trained through the Mike Ferry system, the Tom Ferry system? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, no, it's a program called reverse selling.
Okay. So I'm not familiar with it, but I got the concept. So what I would say is that the mistake agents make who call expireds and FSBOs, I was one of them, is we didn't treat everybody we ever met or had a relationship with as a long-term asset. We only treated them as, oh, they're not with us, so now move on to the next one. We told ourselves they were in our system, but they really weren't. And what I'm going to tell you is there's a fact in our industry. The average time from when a lead starts to when they close, if you use like a CRM program, the day you put in the lead until the day they sell or buy, on average is 2 years. Now, there's plenty that sell in 30 days and 60 days, but the average is 2 years, which means only half go out 2 years and half more go beyond 2 years. And so if you're calling every day to generate those leads and you're not keeping them to germinate for 2 years or longer, you're like throwing away the seeds and wondering why you can't grow any crops. Do you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to start with a healthy business, which is accumulating every name, address, phone number, and email forever, communicating with everybody forever, always adding more people into your funnel or your system or your database. So to answer your question then, once you've done that, once every name, address, phone number, email is in your email database, the next step is you need to be reaching out to them, I think, with the email at least weekly related to real estate. And that relates to your strength. So the realtors whose strength is a certain neighborhood. Some realtors' strength is the type of customer, like military agents. Other ones, mine's probate. But you can mix in your database once every 90 days something related to probate, how to avoid probate, estate planning. Find an estate planning attorney, invite them to go to the webinar of the estate attorney. You start mixing that content into the people you already have, and you've been in business 4 years, you're already making some money. You have customers today that need a probate real estate agent that are not reaching out to you because they don't know that you know anything about it. You're just missing them. They're just slipping right through your fingers. In fact, some of the expires and FSBOs might later become probates, and they're not going to call you because they think they're looking for a probate real estate agent, and you're not putting out there that you know anything about it. So it's really important that you want to be the resource that people call when they have a problem. And the problem is grandma died, or my aunt died, or my cousin's mother died. They should be calling you with those questions, and then you can put together the solution. So the first step I would recommend strongly is get your database together and start adding in regular content related to probate, either how to avoid probate or how to get through it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I know it's like the easy answer, but you don't need to buy a bunch of data. You'll need to do a lot of marketing postcards or spend a lot of money. You got to start with that. Now, once you have that rolling and you come back 90 days later and say, hey, I did one on probate nightmares and why to avoid it. I did one on an email and then, I teach this class. So one thing I say is whatever you email, put in your social media. So you're also posting about maybe estate planning. Once you've done that, then you can get into more sophisticated outreach, like calling your customers and asking them, those that have estate plans, were they happy with the attorney? Who'd they use? Can you recommend that attorney? And then introduce yourself to that attorney. Or they don't have one, why didn't you? You don't know about it. Well, I have an attorney who can help you with that. I know attorneys in North Carolina I can refer you to that do estate planning that would love to work with an agent like you. So that's more advanced, but you got to start with a database to make that make sense.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay. Let's see. Ursel says, I identified what passion looks like and feels like. Rise the AM to answer anyone's call and questions. Yeah, if you love what you do, it's not work. Now, I want to say I want to get paid for this, so I'm not doing it for free. It's not volunteer work. And Marnez says, you're interested in my email class, but have a conflict be repeated. It won't be repeated. It might be, but we're also going to sell the on-demand version when it's done. So stay tuned if you're interested in that. I see a hand up, and a hand happens to be the proprietor of Probate Mastery, Bruce Hill. So let's get Bruce Hill. I can't mute him. Bruce, what's going on?
I'm not going to turn my camera on, Bill, but I had an appointment that ran long, but I heard that last question and I loved your answer, and I wanted to add to it because obviously she has been prospecting and making calls, and reverse selling, by the way, is run by my good friend Brandon Mulrennan, I believe. I love the approach. Ought to check it out, Bill. It's good approach. But if you're already making calls, you need to be capturing the email address of everyone that you talk to, or as many people as possible. Even if they turn you down, they say, hey, no, I have it all handled, or there's no real estate, we don't need anything. You need to say, hey, you know what, I'd love to maybe shoot you some information on what I do in case you ever want to call me for anything. Would that be okay? They're going to say yes, and then capture that email address. And now you just incorporate the exact same plan that Bill did on people that you've prospected in probate list as well. So do everything that Bill said, but also call your probate leads. And if they say no, or that they don't need you, just get their email address, offer them something of value, get their email address, and then put them right into the system that Bill just mentioned.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. Esma, circle back. Let us know how you do. Okay.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
And Bill, that's all I had. I wanted to piggyback on what you said. You're good.
Thanks. Okay, good. Thanks so much. Sounds like the voice of God sneaking in our call here. Okay, there you go. Good. There's Bruce Hill, ladies and gentlemen, proprietor of Probate Mastery. I think he's also in North Carolina, if I remember correctly. Esma, I don't know if that's sure that's true. Is that true?
That would be
Bruce?
correct.
There
Yep,
you go.
that's correct.
So speaking of great realtors in North Carolina area, Bruce Hill. Okay, who else has question challenges? I see. When is the class? The class October 11th, and I'll put in the chat box link above. Yes, it's linked above. I'll put it in again just in case. I'm not here really to promote that. Frankly, this isn't it's not my purpose to be on this call. I did this class because I believe the email database is so fundamental to a business, and in the way that Bruce took another step, which I think is the obvious next step, is once you have a system, you got to put people in the system. But the reason people don't ask for emails because you really know you're not going to do anything with it. So, which is first, the chicken or the egg? And I'm saying here, start with the egg of the database program, because then once you have it done, you'll start asking everybody. And then if you remember back when I asked Essma how many in your database, and she started with not a number. Once you start answering the question, well, in my database is X. Like if you ask me, now mine's so complicated, I have a total of 15,000. Now, some of those are unsubscribed, and you say, well, how many are, consumer or referral sources versus, say, other vendors? I can break down those pieces for you individually, and I literally track those every week. So the answer should be a number. The number should be at least a couple hundred minimum for any real estate agents full-time, minimum. So that's why, but you got to start with that system first. You have to have that in place. Okay, who else has a question, comment, challenge, disagree with me, disagree with Bruce? You're probably more fertile ground disagreeing with Bruce than me, but just kidding. Any other questions, challenges? No?
Hey, Bill,
Victories?
question.
Hey, Cindy, what's up?
So I am a realtor in Hawaii, and I have not, it's really dumb of me, but I have not included one of my specialties to be probate on, like I'm revamping all of my marketing pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how do you, like, if I were to touch everybody in my CRM right now and send out an email, how do I tactfully send something out? I mean, because I'm always so chicken about, oh my God, somebody just died. She called me just for that. OMG. So any suggestions how to break that barrier? It's my own barrier.
So we're talking about a piece you might send to your entire database, like a weekly email, like I'm suggesting?
Well, before I do weekly emails I can think of things to say about probate on a regular basis, but like to launch that in, because I don't have it listed as one of my specialties. So,
well, are you sending out emails now to your database?
Not regarding probate,
but in
my stumbling block. Yeah, my stumbling block is, lately at Long's Drugs, the what do you call that? The sympathy card section is empty, and everybody's dying. And I just think like, oh my God, I don't want to be like one of those ambulance chasing attorneys and send one out and somebody just died today,
I think that particular concern is only from somebody who's not been two things. One, marketing in the probate space, because it's not real. It's in your head, I can assure you. And I think number two, it comes from you not believing you create value for anybody. See, personally, it's not real. Most people even file probate until after the season's gone for months, right? Now, there are people who have grief about losing their parent for the rest of their lives. That's real. And you have to be sensitive to that, be aware of that. But most people don't. Most people, when you file the probate, they're pretty much saying to public, I'm ready to move forward. But we're not talking about you marketing to those people. We're talking about you marketing to people who you already have a relationship with, your customers. So you can add in a piece as in avoid probate estate planning is a way to make sure that if you or your spouse are incapacitated, or both of you, God forbid, there's a process by which you can continue to get the decisions made, your medical decisions, financial decisions made without having to go to court to get a conservatorship or a guardianship. Or, if you inherit property, so it can be a legal maze and difficult. Here's one tip to get through that process that can help you with it. And I think that if you're of value to them, obviously we don't send an email, hey, Cindy, I'm the world's best probate realtor. Send me your probate leads. When somebody dies in your life, think of me. Nobody wants that email. But everybody would appreciate an email saying to my entire database, and I've been sending weekly something, by the way, I'm certified in probate. I help families navigate through the process. It can be overwhelming. On top of the emotional issues, there's financial and administrative issues. And if you know somebody who's going through that, be glad to sit down with them and help them put together a game plan on how to get through that. On my channel, on Probate Weekly, I've interviewed a couple different services that you can offer to help families through that process. You can offer grief counseling. You don't have to do it. You just have to interview them, vet them, and then share them with your database. Or probate kind of administrative services for an administrator. You don't have to give it to them. You can just talk about it and share a link, maybe get a discount coupon that they can use, or avoid probate with estate planning, trustandwill.com and such. So there are things you can talk about. If you focus on bringing value to other people, you'll be less self-conscious. When we're self-conscious is because we're really being selfish. And of course, life is pretty miserable when we're selfish, and life is a joy when you focus on helping other people. Does that help a little bit? Okay. And I'm just curious, what's 121% mean? Of your, that's a virtual background anyhow.
Sorry, I'm a Century 21 agent.
Oh, so 121 means 21% more than 100. I got it. Very cute. Very cute. Okay, good. I was Century 21. I didn't know that was the thing. So very good. Thank you so much. Aloha. What island are you on, by the way, Cindy?
I'm on Oahu, fortunately.
Very nice. Well, fortunately, not fortunately. There's some other islands are still pretty nice, but obviously Maui's been through a tough time. So our hearts with those people. Okay, got it. Thank you, Cindy. Who else has questions, challenges, problems, issues, victories? The thrill of victory, or the agony of defeat, or the agony of defeat. If your feet are hurting, it's a joke. Anybody else? No? No? Going once? Any questions? Any suggestions for content we can help with? We're here together. We can wrap it up early if you want to, but I'm here to be available to help you guys. Miss Larry Smith group, not on the call today. He's always a lot of fun. Let's talk about Larry, by the way, since he's not here. What a bum he is. Did I just say that? That's not really nice, Bill. Okay, I'm going to try and be nice. It's a Jewish New Year coming up. I have to be extra nice. Okay, any other questions, challenges, victories, defeats, problems? Anything I can help you guys with in the space of probate or real estate? Not seeing any? No? Okay. Well, I'll say this. I hope you all, one takeaway I have from today is to try to find a George Gibson in LA who brokers cars and can help, is one to go through the process of titling cars. That's definitely a takeaway on my list today. If you guys have a takeaway today, feel free to share it in the chat box. I would urge you all to put your contact info in, and I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to do that before we wrap up, because hopefully network it can review. Is recorded? The answer is yes. Marnetta asks. How you can access it, I don't really know. If McKenna's here, she'll answer that. If not, go in the Facebook group, Estate Planning, Estate Professional Mastermind, ask that question, and I'm sure you'll either get it or you'll get directed to where it's recorded to. Okay, well, thank you. Marnette is in north of Orlando. I love Orlando. I love Florida. I used to live in Florida. And Don Stark from the 360, welcome. And let's see. George Gibson, the young people, the IG. I know what the IG means. I'm one of those old people that understands what the word IG means. Okay. Well, I think Steve Faust, EXP Realty. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Anybody
Hey, Bill,
here?
I think I do have a question.
Sure.
Regarding my list of leads specifically, and I don't know if this answer will come from you, but regarding my leads specifically, um, when I get them here in Hawaii, they always have attorney already, so I do market to those guys. But I'm just curious, do your leads come that way, or does everybody do other leads come without attorneys or without reps? Without attorneys. Of course, they have a rep.
So, um,
I'm just wondering if the typical lead comes without an attorney, because I'm trying to think of ways that I can also give business back to the attorneys that I meet, right?
sure. So, and who's your data source? Where are you buying the data from?
All the leads.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is you get data from all the leads and they all seem to have attorneys assigned to them. Are there what are called pro per or pro se leads where the people are representing themselves? I don't know Hawaii law. In California, you're allowed to file without an attorney. I believe in Texas, you're not, that you have to have an attorney. I know in California, the data that comes sometimes won't say pro per or pro se. It will have the name of the petitioner in the box where it says attorney, looking as though they're the attorney, when in reality, they're not an attorney. So one clue for that is if the state bar license number is blank, you know that that name's not really an attorney in all likelihood, generally speaking. The other thing I would say is that and this goes back to when I was talking to Essma when we started. In my experience, 90% of customers are very happy when they pick their attorney when they file, and they hate their attorney 9 days later. 90%. 10% are with great attorneys who do a great job and earn respect and handle things and everything goes smoothly. 90% in California, again, I don't know Hawaii, I only know LA County is really where I work every day. But I can tell you, and it's true in Orange and Riverside and San Bernardino, in my experience, 90% hate the attorney. Why? One, it's a difficult process. So anytime you involve a difficult process, people get frustrated. Two, attorneys want to be legal practitioners. They forget they're really supposed to be running a business. In a business, your job is make your customers happy. Attorneys think their job is to pursue the law and challenge the law and argue the law. But at the end of the day, their job really is to make their customer happy by pursuing the law, arguing the law, and enforcing the law. And many of them don't get that, in my experience. So I wouldn't be deterred that they have an attorney. Look for clues that they're not happy with the attorney. Ask questions like, I noticed your initial filing date was, in March, and here we are in August, you still aren't appointed. What's been going on? Oh, my attorney, blah, 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 blah. And so I end up very regularly moving people from an attorney situation they're unhappy with to one they are. One of the clues is when you get your all leads data, you can export the data into a CSV format or to an Excel spreadsheet, sort by attorney, and see who's doing more business and who's doing less. And what you'll find is, like most anything in life, generally speaking, people do a lot of something or better at it than people that do a few. That's why luxury realtors typically are so poor. Because if you make a living selling $5 and $10 million homes, most of them do one a year at most, two a year at most. How good can you be when you only do one or two transactions a year? I do 30 or 40 small transactions, but I'm good at the transaction business. Same with attorneys. You're going to find there's some that are great litigators, but they're lousy probate administrators. So I don't know if your answer is, can you market before they file probate? To me, that's somewhat ambulance chasing. Because once they file probate, they're saying to the world, we're ready to take on the business of the estate. Before that, they're really not ready. But I wouldn't assume because they have an attorney, they're going to stick with them. They change attorneys regularly, and they're unhappy with attorneys. And frankly, many of the attorneys are ill-equipped to service the customers. They're not salespeople, and they don't communicate like we do. They return phone calls in days and weeks, not in hours like we do. And so you really have the chance with a bad attorney. There's two opportunities there. There's opportunity A, help them give good service to the customer by being a great realtor. Or B, sometimes they won't work with me, just take them from that attorney and help the customer find somebody else. Does that make sense? I see Bruce's hand up is up on that, so let's see what he has to say. And he's muted.
There we go. There we go. For some reason, my camera is not turning on, but that's okay. Typically, when you are in any state in the U.S. And you go down to file an application for probate, technically, and this doesn't apply to many people who get leads, but technically, your application for probate is only if you have a will. Okay, you still have to go through a similar probate process if there is no will, but if you have a will, you're applying for probate. If you're going to the courthouse and there's no will, you're going to apply for letters of administration. So I would get familiar with your local courthouse as well, and make sure that when you're personally going and checking the courthouse and checking records, and I realize that you're getting leads from all the leads. Continue to do that, but I want you to go get familiar with the courthouse and their process. And I would bet that there's a lot more people filing probate without an attorney at the point of filing than you're seeing. And when you do that, you're going to want to look for applications for probate and applications for letters of administration where there isn't a will. The process is really, really similar to actually settle probate. And in some cases, with all the leads, they're probably coming over in your probate leads. But I want you to do that because my suspicion is that there's a lot more people going through probate without an attorney than you're seeing on your list. Now, I also agree wholeheartedly with Bill. People start the process with realtors all the time that they don't like. They start the process with attorneys all the time that they don't like. People switch. So you're looking for those flags that would indicate that maybe they're not happy, but also get to your courthouse and familiarize yourself with that process. You'll find people that probably have not selected an attorney are actually going down to file. Bill, I know in LA, it's a really high percentage of people that have an attorney right out of the gate. But it's not everybody. It's definitely not everybody.
Yeah, like I said, I think 90% have an attorney, 10% don't. And then of that 10%, though, some will be in the line that says attorney mistakenly, but they're not really the attorney. If you look at the name, it's the same as the petitioner. So,
Yep.
Okay, Cindy, thanks so much. Enjoy your 21% extra.
Thank you.
All right. Bruce's hand, I'll put your hand down unless your hand goes back up again. Okay. Anybody else have any questions, challenge? Okay, hold on a second. I got a couple. Thanks for all the networkers. You guys should download the name and have your own personal network of agents here. I think that's great. How can we network with other people? Chat is difficult to follow, must be another way. So what I would say is you should, anytime you're on Zoom, you should look to download the chat when people share their contact info. And if you do that, you have the names, numbers, and other. So in George's case, you have his IG handle. I'm not gonna tell what that is. If you don't know, you don't know. But you can download it that way. That's one of the ways. And then second way is go on to the Facebook group for this call, which is the Estate Professionals Mastermind, and which is a great segue as it kind of moves towards wrapping up a little bit. So there's all kinds of opportunities for here's somebody looking for somebody to role play with, and their office, and there's content, good place to ask questions. Oh, there's my thing, that's great. There's content, questions, so feel free to participate. That's a great place to network as well. Okay. You didn't know you could download chat. Yeah, you can download chat in Zoom, and it's I think an important way to do that. And some of the larger groups I download and send to my virtual assistant. She'll upload and research the details, and can we chat to people that way? So great. Trina Harris in the IE, welcome. Thanks for that. Okay, last call. Questions, comments, challenges, problems. Are we all good? What's your takeaway today? What are you going to do? As a result of this call, we spent an hour together today, or 50 minutes so far. What's your takeaway? What are you going to do today to help your business move forward? What's one thing? Just you should always leave, I think, a meeting with a couple takeaways. So what's one thing you're going to do as a result of this? If you want to share that, that'd be great. And obviously sharing other people makes it more real for you. I love that. I'm really intrigued by the car guide.
I'm going to start marketing in my email for sure for probate.
Nice, Cindy. Thank you. That's a good one. That's a real good one. I think all of us working on your database. Joyce, thank you. You have a nice email newsletter, but the more people in your database, you're already doing the hard work of the newsletter. The more people in your database, the more people will get it. Esma's going to add probate content to her emails. I love that. Trina's going to review PLA. I'm not sure I know what PLA is. I probably should. Is that the probate listing agreement? Okay, good. Good for you, Trina. Excellent. And no, actually in California, so I think we're the only state with special probate forms. If you know of a state that has special probate forms, I'd love to see them. If your company, to me, it just makes sense. If I ran a large brokerage in another state, I would take California's forms and copy them, make them proprietary in my state, because I just think our probate forms are, of course, it's for our state law, but they do such a good job of outlining the process. Between there's a probate listing addendum, and then there's the probate advisory. So there's two forms, and then there's a probate purchase agreement addendum that is on the purchase side. So there's a total of 3 forms you should check into. George in Carver Realtors area. I think that's a great idea, George. You specifically in probate, and you might want to call out for New Jersey probate specialists on the Facebook group here. I know Facebook is, you're young and Facebook is for your parents, but just letting you know, that's where the realtors kind of hang out, where we tend to be a little grayer hair than you. So I would go there and look for New Jersey area probate investors and New Jersey area probate realtors and connect with them that way. Okay. And go on my group as well. Go to Probate Weekly as well.
Thanks. I'm 40, by the way.
Okay. Wow. You look young. Okay. Good
Thanks.
for you.
Thanks.
Okay. You have that young attitude too, which is good. So, but still 40 years old, you could be my kid. I mean, let's be honest. So
true.
Easily you could be my kid. Okay. Actually, my daughter is about 26, 27. So I think you're about, yeah, that would work out. Okay. Hey guys, I think that's a wrap for today. So just a real quick wrap up. This is Probate Mastery's weekly group coaching call. We get together every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Probate Mastery is a website with various coaching programs. This is the real estate brokerage coaching piece of that puzzle. And then we have a Facebook group to continue the conversation or to post your probate related content. Love to have you do that there or find new ideas. Here's a great one that Bruce put together as far as keywords. And then I'm Bill Gross, and I host probateweekly.com, which is a weekly interview format, Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. It's also recorded. You can go to probateweekly.com to sign up live, or go to episodes.probateweekly to see the past episodes. And then my probate group is Probate Weekly. Love to have you post your content there and or ask questions and network there. So thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody on the call today. Thank you, Bruce. Great seeing you guys. Have a great week. If I can help you, I'm at Bill Gross Probate. Make today your best day ever. Thanks, everybody.